Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Hello, Dan. We've gone from starting a new unbeaten run to now being in a beaten run. 2 games.
Yeah. Hope that doesn't last 20. Imagine that.
Oh, imagine that. City, Saturday, away to Cambridge United in the FA Cup second round, beaten 2-1. Last night in the league, beaten 2-1 at home to Northampton Town. The Cobblers was what I watched in the first half, and then Northampton were there as well. So you were at Cambridge. You went.
I went to the Cambridge game kind of last minute.
East Anglia. The Fens.
Is it in East Anglia?
Yeah.
Okay. First time in Cambridge. What I saw of it.
The Spires.
Didn't see those.
No.
I was frankly very unimpressed with what I saw of Cambridge. No, I wasn't actually. I had quite a good experience with it. I was late.
Yeah.
We were late getting there. Things transpire.
Yeah.
Whatever. We were late getting there. 2 early goals.
Yeah.
So Sam Nombe taken down in the penalty area.
Yeah.
And converted the penalty.
Yeah.
Nicely.
Get a good view of that, did you?
That's very early. Didn't hear. No. I had that on the radio in the car.
Oh.
And then got to Cambridge.
Yeah.
And it's just like we were thinking, like, we're already late. Where are we going to park? Cambridge website says you've got to do the park and ride. We're like, we can't do that. We have to take our chances. Got to the main road by the ground. Just like park anywhere. Everyone just parking up on the pavements everywhere.
Oh, was it?
So it's just like, just do this. Legging it down there. Heard a goal go in, basically. It was quite nice, though, yeah, because we got there late. Got to the gate.
Yeah.
Just some gate.
Not
near.
the late gate.
And then the guy's like, no, you can't go in now because he's not from Devon. All the turnstile staff all sat down watching the game. And they're like, oh, come on, mate, we've come miles for this. Like,
yeah.
Well, London. And he's like, oh, go on then, I'll take you around. And he walked us around all the way around the ground, giving us a little rundown of how it's been so far, the game so far. And then he went like, tell you what, lads, tenner each.
Very nice.
It was very nice. It's a old ground.
Yeah.
It's lovely. It's really nice. The Abbey or whatever,
Abbey Stadium.
Abbey Stadium. I mean, calling it a stadium is a stretch. I mean, it's so old. It makes St James Park look like the Tottenham Hotspur ground.
Oh, right, okay.
But really nice and enjoyable. I like that kind of thing. But yeah, it was already 1-1 by the time we got in.
Okay.
And then we were playing really well, and we were all over them.
Nice football.
We had a lot of chances to score. We're playing really nice football.
Matt J at the post, didn't he?
Matt J hit the post. They were kind of so close. And we were doing pretty well. And then into half time.
Mm-hmm.
And we started the second half well as well. They didn't look. I mean, obviously they've got Wes Hoolahan.
Yeah.
And he's. I know he's getting on a bit now, but he's clearly their best player and possibly the best player on the pitch. Playing really well. You mean he does everything he does well. It's interesting that when you get an ex kind of Premier League player, and there is something about it you can tell.
We get to see Jonathan Grains whenever we want.
Did he play in the Prem or was he a Championship boy?
I believe he was a Prem.
Yeah, well,
probably not the same.
Notwithstanding Jonathan Grouse, you can always tell. But we were doing really well, and then unfortunately, second half, fairly early on, Nombe goes down. He's done his hamstring, hasn't he?
Bad tear, so they say.
So we're looking at a couple of months on the sidelines for him.
Ah, Sam.
Oh, it's a shame, innit?
I wonder how he's going to survive without the kind of love he gets from the Big Bang. He's clearly drawn to it like a moth to the flame.
I know, yeah. It was strange last night not seeing him out there. But I think he's not been someone who's done... He's not been the main man in a team at any point in his career, really, where he's been every game, playing every minute of every game. Sure. So, I mean, what can you do? You got to try and win these games. I mean, there's an argument for saying should he have started him in that FA Cup tie, but we want to do well in these competitions, and you want your best players to play. And you don't know he's going to tear his hamstring, do you?
And he didn't start the Bradford replay, did he? I can't remember now.
I honestly can't remember. I think he might have done, actually, yeah.
Okay.
But so he comes off, and Podrick and Mons stood there ready to come on.
Yeah.
And then Taylor does that thing which he does occasionally do, which is just change his mind and brought on Kyle Taylor instead.
Yeah.
And he put Giovanni up top. And I don't know about it. Do you mean I just don't think Giovanni Brown's brilliant, right? And he's been such a great signing. And the things he does well, he does superbly well. Do you know what I mean? Like, great touch, great link-up play. I think he's up there for assists in the league this season. So, but what it looks like he isn't is a finisher to me.
Yeah.
And we did have chances to finish him off or to go ahead in that game. You know, a couple of one-on-ones. And one of them was like, you know, a difficult one to take, and the other was a good save from the keeper. But when you've got someone like Amond on the bench, he is that guy. He is a finisher. That's what he does do. You know, it just seemed a bit like, why didn't we bring him on? You know, why not? Like, I don't know. Like, and then maybe we're still in that cup. Now,
then 88th minute.
There's a controversial end here. Yeah, so. It was so hard to know what was going on in real time because we were right behind that goal, the supporters. So, I mean, things like offside and that you can't tell.
By the way,
what
the hell's that large gap about? If it's such an old ground, did they play rugby on it or something?
I was really wondering that. It didn't look like there's any rugby markings
but
on
are they
there.
in the past? And
yeah, maybe.
Anyway.
It's just like they've got too much pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, really strange.
But isn't that the pitch? I can't remember the name of the manager, but in the 80s and 90s, when they were really successful, came up from very low down to...
Yeah.
League Division 2 as it was. Wasn't that the pitch where he narrowed the lines?
Yeah, probably. What's he called? John Beck.
John Beck.
Him? Yeah.
And watered the wings.
Yeah, he's a lunatic, and they just played like full on.
Dion Dublin would just knock 1,000 headers in a season.
It was all just long ball, wasn't it? Like constantly.
So maybe it's something. Weird.
It's mad. They nearly went into the Premier League, and to be going into, they wouldn't have been able to do it, would they? Not in that ground.
They had different rules back then, didn't they?
Yeah, but even in the 90s, you didn't see grounds like that in the Premier League.
I mean, Boundary Park, I suppose, is the one example, which I know is slightly better.
It's big, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
That's big. This tiny.
Weird.
Anyway, so this cross comes. I think it's a corner. This corner comes in, or this cross comes in, and ball's in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Headed in.
Yeah.
Linesman flags offside.
Sam Smith's offside, right?
Sam Smith's offside. Turns out afterwards. I mean, you know, in real time, impossible to say. Linesman flags it. It's offside. End of story. Do you mean that's it? Then the ref goes over to him. The ref's surrounded by
Cambridge
players, but he sends Dawson away, who's protesting, but he doesn't send away this massive group of Cambridge players. The refereeing in this game wasn't good anyway. Do you mean like we see, they lose control of the game. They're too influenced by the players. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
But this happens here, and then he goes to the linesman, and then the ref reverses the linesman's decision.
And it's an offside decision. It's not a foul.
No, it's an offside.
Yeah.
And the referee, for some reason, decides that he's going to overrule it, and that's a goal, Cambridge. I don't know if he didn't want to do extra time. He had somewhere to be. He's booked in for lunch at the local pub with his wife. I don't know what it was.
He was already late for lunch.
All right.
His roast beef's gone cold.
Dinner. I don't know what it was.
He had to be all the way through.
He had an appointment somewhere because he didn't want to do extra time because there's no reason for that referee to be ruling out that goal.
Just to run through it, Sam Smith's in the way, but he doesn't touch it, correct? But he's very clearly in the way.
The ball comes over. Sam Smith goes to header it.
Yeah.
He's at the front post almost, you know what I mean? He quite clearly goes to header it and misses it.
Yeah.
You can see retrospectively in this screenshot of when that happens that Dawson is set to save this,
Yeah.
And fair enough, he might not have saved it, whatever. But then he doesn't touch on it, and it hits the next guy headers it in.
Yeah.
Whoever he is, whatever his name is.
Yeah. Okay.
But the referee says it's a different phase of play. Like, how is that possibly a different phase of play?
Well, of course now.
Unless the phase of play starts a split second after it goes over the guy's head. But now, yeah, like you said, like we've
hot take. The referee has apologised. No, the match officials have apologised officially to Exeter City.
Which is mad, isn't it?
I mean, that's mad.
Sorry. In writing.
And then, of course, Cambridge United have drawn, and I'm gutted about this, Newcastle United away.
Yeah, I mean, that is a kicker, innit? That would
have been lovely.
Never been there. The other St James's Park.
St James Park. Obviously, Newcastle got all sorts of weird stuff going on. We go and give them a load of grief for, getting in bed with a awful regime.
Yeah, it would have been fun.
A lovely Saturday afternoon.
Would have been a lot of fun, that.
Yeah, it's not happening, so don't forget about it.
I won't.
All right.
I won't forget. I will forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's very annoying.
What a shame. And then so to also do that and to lose Nombe as a result.
Yeah.
Just a disappointing weekend, really, that.
And you missed 2 of the goals.
And I missed 2 of the goals. Well, I mean, I can
but
live with that.
You did save £12.
I saved myself a lovely £12 there. and I had some chips at half time.
Did you?
Well, I did. My brother did. I shared a couple. Yeah.
How were they?
Yeah, they were terrible, but
I'd love chips at half
it's
time.
nice to be able to get chips in it.
I'd love
Cheesy
chips.
chips as well.
Was it?
Yeah.
Living like kings. Living like Cambridge Dons. Cambridge Dan.
Cambridge Dan. That's what they'll call me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're out of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And
we played
that's
3
that
matches,
for another
but we were out in
year.
the second round. No, we played 4 matches, but we were out in the second round.
Yeah, that insanity of the FA Cup's over for this year. I mean, not without its drama, was it? All quite annoying drama. Nothing that good. Just kind of like, basically, the whole thing just completely marred by official, like weirdly kind of like ruined by the refs and all the officials.
Yeah.
All of them just like, I mean, how hard is it to do your job properly?
Well,
That's literally not misunderstanding the basic rules of the game. Yes, they're fairly complicated, but what is your job to do? Learn the rules. That is an absolute bare minimum.
You know who must be absolutely fuming in all of this? That linesman. That is... I mean, what's the point in him being there?
I know. It's mad.
He must just be like... What?
What else can he do? You know, like,
what else can he... Oh, no, it's not his fault, is it?
But now he's part of this thing that on paper that
some debacle
cocks it up. And we played better than Cambridge. Do you mean like
annoying.
there they can be maybe they're more clinical than us, and you can argue that we didn't take our chances. But on the pitch out there, we were the better team, and it's just a shame that we didn't. We deserved at least a replay out of that. Now, what that would have entailed, who knows? What the ref or the linesman or the fourth official would have done in that one, we can only guess. Do you mean? But I mean, it's madness. I'm that's a conversation for another time. But I'm like broadly kind of like against bringing in VAR. Always was. Still don't like it. But you're not helping the cause, lads, by being. I mean, it's just inept.
Well, there's middle ground, isn't there? Because VAR obviously is a person sat in isolation who can make decisions in the cold light of day, right? No one's shouting at him. There's no, he can just literally look at the lines on the pitch or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you agree with it, if you like it or not. That's how it works. What the referee's done there at Cambridge is so far the opposite. He's let himself be completely surrounded. So if he was like, I think we need to have a conversation about this with the lino, why have you flagged? Send those idiots away and go and stand in the centre circle where there's no supporters and talk about it properly. Like, that's a legitimate thing to do, and no one would begrudge them a minute of talking so that they can make the proper decision. But he's not. He's forgotten even what the right thing to do is, and he's overruled his mate, who he's got no reason to overrule.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very frustrating.
Do your job. Just do your job properly, Same as anyone,
Which leads us on to last night.
Well, we'll talk about that, will we?
Should we talk about that now? Should we have a break?
Let's have a little break.
See you in a minute. Welcome back to the Big Bang Theory podcast. You can get in touch with us, of course, in all the normal ways. We're on email, bigbankpod@gmail.com. We're on Twitter @BigBankPod, and we're on Facebook as well, the Big Bang Theory podcast. We want to hear your opinions on this, because last night, so City were at home, unbeaten at home, to Northampton, second in the league. We're third in the league on basically the same points and goals, basically. And,
Is it fair to call Northampton a bogey team?
Absolutely is.
In every sense of the word.
Hate them. Hate seeing them. Hate seeing their name come up. Hate their maroon kit. Hate their faces. Hate that whichever bunch of people are in charge, they're still doing the same old crap.
I thought they were a little bit
better.
Better in some respects. I mean, there's a place in or near Northampton called Rugby, and I think that tells you all you need to know about the area.
Yes. Whereas there's a place not that far from Exeter called Hope Cove, which I think tells you everything you need to know about us.
Yeah, exactly.
So, terrible first half by City. It was a horrible night, it's worth saying that. The wind was absolutely howling, wasn't it?
It was. But it's one of those nights, where, I love it because it's going to be freezing. You know the weather's going to be horrific. You had all day to kind of like realise, I'm going to stand outside of the big bank later on.
Yeah.
And so then before you go, you're like, right, I got to get... It's like going into battle. You're like, right, I got to get ready here.
Yeah.
Got to get all the kind of like layers on, thermals, 2 pairs of socks, get it all... and so you're like, right, I'm ready to go. And you'd like leave your house, like a kind of... you'd like Derek Adams or something, like...
I've got a problem, which is that I live at the bottom of the hill and I cycle up, right? So I've got the two things going on. I'm going to be freezing. By 9 o'clock, I'm going to be freezing. But at 20 to 8, when I've just parked up my bike, I'm going to be absolutely roasted. So I have to do the double whammy, I have to think through these things. Anyway, you don't want to hear about my underwear. But...
I think they do.
Oh, mate, that's a different podcast.
Describe it to us.
It's warm. So...
Woolen.
We went down. We were just bad, weren't we? City couldn't get a pass together, really. I know that's partly the wind, but there was lots of... Josh Key hardly got the ball in the first half. Jake Caprice had some of the ball, but didn't seem to be able to make any good passes. We were missing Dieng, who's out injured as well. Obviously, no Nombe, so Amon starts. It just wasn't happening, was it, first half?
No, it wasn't at all. And we were let off the hook a few times by...
bad finishing, really.
Bad finishing. Also, a couple of smart saves from Dawson. He got a bit of the ball to begin with, and then sort of disappeared from the game.
Yeah.
I think teams are cottoning on to. I mean, and it wouldn't be too difficult if you just do a kind of like, tiny bit of research that we like to work it down the wings. So.
But there wasn't any.
They
balls
made it difficult
from
for him.
Kite and Collins. No balls were going in his direction.
Well, I think we just struggle to get hold of the midfield a bit sometimes with those two. And I think they're both really good players. Kite is obviously less far along in his development than Collins, so he doesn't move the ball quite quick enough. He's a little bit kind of ponderous on the ball, and he takes too many touches. Collins is better than that, and certainly in the better second half was a lot better at playing those balls. But you do miss Dieng, and I can't really work out exactly what it is he does, apart from does everything quite well. He's a bit stronger.
He's a bit quicker.
He's a bit direct. He's a bit more direct. And he's a lot more of a presence in that midfield, as well. And like, it's kind of very important to how we play, and we do miss it. But what can you do? There's injuries, Dieng's injured, and Garner's injured.
Yeah.
So they both would have been probably better options in this case, especially against a team like Northampton.
Yeah.
But what can you do? I do think we've been in worse position before. Like, I like Harry Kite a lot. I think he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, it's not a disaster. They just weren't very good yesterday's first half, were they?
No, they weren't. No, and like we won't get. There's no service to Amond at all. I do think some part of me thinks, as much as I wanted this to happen during the Cambridge game, bring on Amond for Nombe. I'm not sure that he's quite that same player. He's not a hold-up player, Amond.
No.
But then you have to adjust. You can't just go, well, he'll come in for him and we'll play the same way. I mean, it won't work like that. So I was surprised to not see a bit of a shift around that enforced change to maybe get someone a bit closer to Amond, whether that's one of the youngsters or whether that involves shifting things around so Jay can be a bit closer to him, because he's a bit more of a kind of like guy who's going to play off somebody else, flicking on, running in behind, getting on the end of things, But we got into half time. Wait, so they scored?
They scored, Dawson had made some really good saves directly before.
Yeah.
And then another shot from inside the box, and Josh Key sticks his leg out.
I mean, Key does nothing wrong. I don't
No,
think there.
no,
Not in terms of that. Maybe he could have got closer to the man before.
But it was
they
really
kept
pinging
getting a
round.
lot of space. Number 14 down their left-hand side. Again, just good. I mean, just good tactics really from Northampton to work that out.
Yeah, so
and
it
then
was
the
a
goal,
shot, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Came off Key. Dawson had already gone the other way, hadn't he, to make the save?
Yeah, it comes off Key. Yeah, I mean nothing. Yeah,
nothing Dawson could have done.
And a goal behind. But the thing is that, like I said, they'd threatened and they'd had better chances than us. We hadn't created anything.
1-0 was the fair score at half
Yeah,
time.
they were worth that.
And we were
that
probably
lead.
fortunate not to be more, because they had missed a few, hadn't they?
They had, yeah. If they were better, we would have been further behind. But it's always good. I think with this Exeter side, you can, if we are 1-0 down at half time, you can think, oh, this isn't the end of the.
Yeah.
This isn't the end. I mean, even against a team of like cloggers, which Northampton aren't the worst for, but they will do it. I mean, and they are bad for the old time wasting and whatnot. And the referee in the first half, I thought, had a really good game. He's letting a lot of things go.
Yeah.
Like not being too, fussy and whatnot. How all these things will change after the break.
So we were excellent first 10 or 15 of the second half. Taylor had obviously, goodness knows what he said to him, but it obviously worked.
Yeah.
Straight away, Josh Key was in on the ball, like within the first 30 seconds.
We just had a lot more intent, didn't we?
Yep.
Obviously, the other thing is it's a big change. You got the wind behind you. I mean, it's definitely really difficult playing it into the wind.
But
and it does get windy there.
It was balls to feet. Sweeney.
But this is the thing I don't really understand yet, is they always go on about this. Oh, when the weather's bad, you have to adjust to it. Like, so when it's windier, you play more high long balls. How about you play less? Like, you kick the ball on the ground. Like, do you mean? Like,
yeah.
I think that's what you do because it's all swirling around. You think, oh, just anywhere will do.
I think they panic.
We weren't calm enough with it. Do you mean?
It happens, doesn't it? Even when people are driving. You ever think this? When people are driving, their driving gets considerably worse if it's raining or the wind's really bad because everyone just kind of panics. And I bet it's the same with the footballers. They're just like...
Yeah. I mean, it's horrible playing in with conditions like that. Anyone who's played football in this country at any level, even down the park, you realise it does change things a lot, the conditions. So I'm not blaming it completely on that. We should have been better in the first half. And we can't just go like, oh, well, anytime we're playing against a wind, we forget it, But we were better intent, and I think, he got them going. But it didn't last, Well,
we had 15, we scored, and then we probably had another 10 minutes of pressure, didn't we? And it looked like it was coming.
Yeah, so we got it's a really good goal. Josh Key...
Well, very well worked.
When he cuts in, like, obviously he's a right-footed player playing on the right-hand side, so what he loves to do, really, is run to that byline and try and get a cross in. But he cuts in on these defenders, and he can really kind of get past them. And, we've seen him leaving players on their arse, multiple times this season. And he cuts in, and he keeps battling for me. He nearly loses the ball.
Yeah.
He battles, and he clips in a lovely little ball. And Amond there is what you want, to nod it in.
Bosh.
Great, such a great header.
Such a great
That's
header.
his 200th career goal.
I know, that's amazing, isn't it?
And I think it's really nice that he scored that in front of the big bank at a really kind of quite crucial moment.
Yeah.
Now, we went on to ruin it, but nice little milestone for him. And I'm pleased that he's got that goal because I think he's made a good contribution and has been a good, seems like he's a good guy to have around. Like we
really
talked about
does,
in the past,
Yeah. Now, we'd praised the referee earlier, but then the whole thing went to absolute pot. So the opposite of what happened at Cambridge was, Northampton had started to break out a bit. Like, we didn't quite have them quite under the cosh that we'd had for the first 15. But then, like you said, the referee had let stuff go, and that was great, and that worked really well. And then for some reason, a free kick that wasn't a free kick, the referee was very close to it, and he didn't give it. And then the linesman does give it, and the ref goes with him.
So I haven't seen the replay of this, so I don't know.
Everything I
It
saw...
didn't seem like to me like it was like... But you can only go on the evidence you got, can't you? The referee doesn't give that free kick. Then the linesman flags, right? I think that's the order.
And the ref's much closer to it than the linesman, definitely. And I think that was a bad decision, right?
Before this, he's already started giving every single time that someone's gets in front of a player, they feel tiny touch in the back and they fall on the floor.
Yes.
I know that's the way it works. I know we were doing it too, and we did it in that game. We did it last night in the same way. But once the referee starts giving them, then you surrendered it,
Yeah. So then they score from this free kick, don't they? And
regardless of whether it's a free kick or not,
yeah,
you've got to defend that better than that.
Yes.
No, but just go straight in.
Yeah.
No one touches it.
No.
Like I said, I haven't seen the replay. Just anyone just get in the way of it. This is the most frustrating thing I thought about last night, and there's loads of different things going on. It's just our absolute inability to get onto any second ball, and sometimes even the first of them. We're so bad at it. Like every time, and especially if we're going to get involved in these kind of battles in the weather where there's a lot of head tennis going on and big hoofs up and down. You've got to be a bit braver, and maybe that's why we haven't had so many injuries this season, was because we're not getting into these second balls. It's just you watch it and it's we've got this one. Nope. I'm not even going for half of them. Letting the ball bounce. It's just you've got some people in there who'd think Sweeney, Ray, Hartridge, Collins, you've got to be a bit braver on those. Put your body on the line. If that's what it takes. Just get in the way of stuff. Stop them getting it.
I would suggest I think Ray, Sweeney, Hartridge are okay at it. I think that Dieng or Atangana are good at it. We didn't have them. I think they make the difference sometimes in those kind of games,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think those defenders.
I don't think they're brilliant.
I think those defenders should be better at it than they are,
Yeah,
and you give the impression that they're those kind of guys, but we're not winning any second balls all over the pitch.
So we're 2-1 down, and then the referee goes to absolute mush, and it's just like we turn it back on enough, and we had enough pressure, but all of it. I mean, Northampton know what they're doing. But all of the wind was knocked out of our sails by the goal, and then just like you couldn't string anything together because the ref had just lost it. Yeah. Everything, just whistle, whistle, whistle. So to the point where we just resort. So the players' mindsets change. So I'm thinking of Coley. Coley comes on, right?
Yeah.
And he gets that chance. He's done really good running. He sees a gap between these two players, and he's already thinking, if I run through that gap, I'll fall over and I'll try and get a penalty.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the ref's fault. Like Coley shouldn't do it. He should be thinking more sensibly than that because a penalty is a bigger thing. But the refs shifted how everyone feels about the whole thing. Instead of Coley thinking, if I get in near to the byline and then cross it back across, we'll have a really good chance. So frustrating.
Yeah, it is. So Coley comes on. Also, Ben Seymour comes on.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him for a while.
And Kyle Taylor comes on.
I mean, some people are a bit down on Kyle Taylor. I think probably he's not had much of an opportunity to show what he's worth. Yeah, he keeps bringing him on in kind of different positions all over. He seemed to be on the right wing yesterday, which also pushed Key back into right back, which I thought was a strange thing. Seems like all our best work was coming through Josh Key. I understand that you've got to bring players off when they're tired, and if you don't, then you get injuries, like what happened to Nombe and stuff. So I get the caution there, but that was our best outlet by Mar. Jake Caprice on the other side didn't have the best night. We praised him in the past, so it's only fair. Like recently, that we point that out. He kept running the ball out of play, sometimes he just didn't want to beat. Didn't seem like he normally all he wants to do is beat his man.
Yeah, and
it just wasn't working that last night. And when they blocked the other way, when they realised that Key's the danger man, they blocked him. Like he's good enough that he managed to get through that for the equaliser, but like. I don't know, but I thought Kyle Taylor did okay, really. Do you mean like considering?
No, I agree.
And I mean maybe he's not quite match ready yet, and I know we want to push Kite, but maybe Kite's the one who should be getting like accumulating minutes where and when we can, and maybe someone like Taylor, a bit more experience, a bit more nous perhaps, should be the one starting if Atangana and Dieng aren't available.
I also think Taylor's got a bit more. I'm going to look forward.
Yeah,
Kite.
They're both kind of sideways pass guys, but like, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
So that was that 2-1 defeat. That's our first loss at home.
We had a big chance, wasn't there? Which like I know was a tough one, but Josh Coley at the back post. It's one of those goals where you kind of like, if you're going to score that, you're going to smash into the post, but smash into the post then,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how he kind of doesn't quite take it right. It comes right at him. It's really difficult. He's got to arrive and score in a very small,
small bit of space.
But I mean,
and the wind, maybe. I think
he's got to do better there, personally. But again, it's not a glaring miss.
That's a header, isn't it? That's putting your body. That's getting any part of your body on it.
Yeah, I'll take it with your left foot, even. Like one of the two. Yeah, I think it just made it. It's just one of those split-second decision ones where it's like really kind of like comes at you quick, but.
I don't think it was a bad miss, but I think it was a good chance.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
2-1 defeat.
Yeah,
First
so we've
defeat in the
lost
league
at home.
At home.
We're down to fourth, with Swindon behind us with a game in hand.
Yeah.
Don't know when that'll happen. But other people won. Forest Green won. They're absolutely running away with it now.
Yeah. Port Vale
won. Northampton
won, obviously.
Yeah. Harrogate lost. Swindon lost. So,
Yeah. Swindon got pumped.
So did Harrogate, but by Forest Green.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, disappointing. I mean, we're going to need to see a reaction, aren't we? That's two. And I know particularly Cambridge was a unfair defeat, and I know it was the cup, and I know it was against high league opposition, but we cannot lose 3 in a row.
No.
Cannot.
No, definitely not.
And last night I would have thought a draw would have been okay.
Yeah.
I think we would have taken that.
Yeah, I think we would, considering the circumstances. Yeah, I think so Nombe's out. It looks like maybe it's going to be like 3 months possibly.
Yeah. Which is
Matt
very,
Taylor's post-match interview where he talked about this apology and he talked about the injuries. Intimated that, is that the word, that we're going to be, that we're going to try and bolster the squad by a striker essentially in the January transfer window, which is like a couple of weeks away now. Because it looks like Podge isn't perhaps someone who's going to be able to do you 90 minutes twice a week, which is what in a way what you need. And I guess Seymour, as much as he's going to have to help out, whereas I think he's not in Matt Taylor's plan for the first team.
No.
And other than that, who do we have?
No, that's right.
The answer's not Giovanni Brown.
Edwards maybe, but he's much more of a winger, isn't he?
Yeah, and I mean, you won't want to. We're going to have to change some things around, or if him or Coley are going to play that role. I just don't think they can do it. And then the other option is Sonny Cox, and he's very young. I mean, perhaps I would have liked to, in a way,
Cox instead of Seymour.
Why? Why persevere with Seymour? You've signed Sonny Cox, presumably tell him he's going to get. I don't know what they say to him, but with the idea that he's going to play, that's what we were told at the start of the season, and that was like they've, And if it's in desperation circumstances, like we just need this goal. I don't know. Is Seymour any more likely to score than Cox? I don't see any evidence for that.
No.
And Seymour didn't touch the ball,
So, upcoming fixtures means it's now Tranmere at home on Saturday. Who've won their last 2 in the league. Then it's Port Vale away the following Saturday. Then it's Portsmouth in the Papa John's next round thing.
Do one.
Tuesday at home. And then we're through to Boxing Day, Swindon at home. And then it's Forest Green away before the year's out.
I couldn't care less about this Papa John's Cup now. I think just sack the whole thing off. Like, now we're out of the FA Cup and that as well. Just, forget it.
I just hope he fills it with literally an entirely different 11.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to, hasn't he? Many games.
So many games, and we've got to play this. I mean, this is so annoying, isn't it, from last night of losing. We've got this run of playing all the other teams around us in literally a kind of 8-week period or something, and we've lost the first one, the first hurdle against maybe one of the worst out of all those teams, and at home.
Yeah.
So it's just the worst possible start to this run. So we've got to bounce back, and we've lost our main player.
And I think we've lost our 2 best players. Maybe Brown's.
No, I think you're right. I think you're probably right. We have lost our 2 best players because Matt J.
Okay, fair enough. But that they're very significant players to lose, aren't they?
We haven't lost Matt J.
Although,
let's talk about this. The best thing that happened last night.
Well, Matt J seemed to leave the pitch for a while. I couldn't see him at all. I just saw a beautiful lady.
Yeah. Matt J's bobble. What do they call him? Scrunchy.
His scrunchie fell out.
His scrunchies fell out. And his lovely long hair was all flowing in the wind.
If you remember Triple H, the wrestler, listeners.
Really WWF.
It was really WWF.
Yeah, but because he'd obviously had it in the ponytail, it was all kind of the hair's been trained to go in a certain direction. So it was all going down the back in this lovely, perfect mullet.
Yeah.
Or it looked like a mullet, I mean. And it was all there. And he was making this run down the middle because it's right in the middle of the place. We couldn't stop to put the bun back.
No.
So he's making this run, and then he's got this little guy legging it around with this long, luscious locks.
My theory is
blowing in the southwesterly wind.
My theory, whoever had the ball looked up to see where Matt J was and couldn't see him at all.
I don't know who that is, but it's not Matt J.
Not passed into that person. Yeah.
I'd like to see him own it. He did put his little hairband straight back in. I'd like to see him just come out with that full long hair.
In the style of a wrestler where it's all wet?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Do the old Triple H thing as well. You put the water in your mouth and then spray it out.
Beautiful.
In front of the big bang.
Can't do that in COVID times.
No, probably not advisable. No, but we could have a load of long hairs out there, couldn't we? We could have him. Kyle Taylor could let his hair down.
Yeah. That's it.
No,
Giovanni Brown.
Alex Hartridge.
Oh, yeah.
Giovanni Brown. Giovanni Brown kind of does. He's kind of got it
It's in kind of braids, isn't it?
I mean, Giovanni Brown, I imagine, can pull off. He seems like a much more stylish man to me than some of those others, but maybe Kyle Taylor. I know Kyle Taylor's got questionable footwear in
large Converse
in Piers Sweeney's eyes, at least.
So yeah, that was the main event. We got to see a result against Tranmere. Got to.
Yeah, we got to batter them.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need an absolute battering performance.
Yeah.
I tell you what we need desperately as well is a clean sheet.
Yeah.
We're letting in so many goals.
Well, it's not so many goals, is it? But just consistently a goal or two's going in, and it's just like, got to score 2 then. And
Well, no, yeah, but that's harder.
scored a lot, and Nombe scored a lot. I mean, got either of them, so you just like, a clean sheet would be nice. And that Dawson does it's not Dawson's fault. He's doing everything, like every save you could ask of him, pretty much. He's making, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, Dawson's been like...
Oh, incredibly consistent.
Yeah, very good keeper, isn't he? He did a really good thing on the Cambridge game. Obviously, he's so angry when that goal gets given.
Yeah.
And he just booted the ball, like proper kind of, Peter Kay style, just off into the distance, out into the car park. And then obviously got booked for it. But, it's just like, he just looks so frustrated. He launched it.
He was livid last night as well, wasn't he? Obviously, at the deflection that sent him the wrong way. And I feel for him because he's been brilliant.
Well, it looks bad on him, doesn't it? Because his record of clean sheets is like
it was
terrible.
So well, didn't it?
It's not his fault.
No, it's not. Okay.
Most of the time.
So it's Tranmere at home.
Another home game.
Game. See you there. Thanks everyone for listening. There's 2 other bits of news, I suppose, which is kind of vaguely related to Exeter City. Ryan Lowe's gone. I won't miss him.
No, I don't care about that.
And also, Tisdale seems to have given up on looking stylish. Seen this?
Has he?
Yeah, he's wearing a baseball cap and like a hoodie.
Really? Maybe he's sort of trying to reinvent himself.
Yeah, man of the people.
They got a draw, didn't they, last night or something in his first game?
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Now, Tisdale news I am interested in.
Okay.
But only a bit. We don't want to go on and on about the man forever. I know people don't want to hear
maybe when
it.
we see him...
When we see him, we're going to go on about it like there's no tomorrow.
And maybe that'll be the end of it. Maybe we'll leave him behind forever then.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, or maybe not.
I doubt it.
Well.
He looms large, doesn't he? He's the, he's the...
Goes to Christmas
He's the
past.
ghost at the banquet. He's like...
He is.
The little bald ghost.
Just one... in his will, when he finally dies... He's not old, so I don't know why I'm saying that. I bet in his will it's that his face will be carved into one of the people on the cathedral, or that wall outside Urban Outfitters. It'll be Tisdale's face carved in, or Holden Belvedere. Someone will make it into Tisdale's head. Just always there to look at us.
Yeah, probably. Well, he's living rent-free in most people's heads around here anyway, isn't he?
Yeah,
So.
mine, definitely. Yeah. Get out of my mind.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week.
Thanks for listening, Paul.
At a more sedate hour. There's no Tuesday next week. So we'll give it you.
What are we going to do on Tuesday?
Don't know.
No footy. You have to watch that Champions League rubbish.
I think that's finished as well. You can't even watch that.
Oh, whatever. What are you going to watch then?
Maybe
I recommend...
I'm going to take up the tango.
Take up the tango, yeah. Dancing.
Yeah.
Do some dancing if you want.
Dance free, friends. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.